Shut the gate and head over to probably the pigs. They're not going to need a vast amount. So, quick jaunt over to the pig farm. We'll take the back route to the cow farm. Water the cows. Wrong brake. I need to remap those foot pedals. Farm Sim 19, I mapped it so that the accelerator was go forwards and the clutch was go backwards, because there's quite a lot of resistance on the brake pedal. But with Farm Sim 19 and the enhanced driving mod, where you select whether you're in forward or reverse gear, and then the accelerator moves you in that direction and the brake slows you down from going in that direction. For Farm Sim 19 I remapped accelerator and brake, which means when I'm playing something like multiplayer on Arthur's farm, I am using the brake as the backwards pedal and the accelerator as the forwards pedal, but it's so infrequent that it's not an issue. Also, when I started playing I didn't have a wheel stand, so the pedals just lay on the ground, and that wasn't an issue for me. But now that I have the wheel stand, it's got a big bar that goes between your legs, and that makes reaching across with your right foot to the clutch pedal awkward. And good morning, Sandy W159. Welcome to the stream. How are you this Saturday morning? Probably going to have to top this off. I'm doing well. It's dull and overcast here, but at least there's no snow on the ground. Don't know what our plans are today. We may go to the movies, because I want to go and see Midway. .40 AM. That would put you round about the west coast, I believe. Where's the water? There. Put the pressure washer next to the water pipe because, well, it's a good supply of water. Go. Just about make that turn. How's that doing? That's going to be fine. So you got plans for today, or lazing around on a Saturday? Stepping back. I've not seen that map. It sounds like it's Central European. I do generally like the European maps. Although sometimes you just want to play an American map because you can have huge machinery. Not that I don't have huge machinery on this map. I mean, we're working with some quite sizable tractors. And the farm is reaching the threshold where we're going to have to increase the amount of equipment we'd need on it if we're going to continue. Behind the gate. How's that looking? That is looking full. That's good. Break. That one. So, how much do the cows need? Oh, metric ton. Go move the truck. It's something that's kind of challenging for streamers. A big map, while it can be fun to play, can be problematic to keep the stream interesting, if you like, because yeah, if it takes you 3 hours to harvest a field, or some case 6 hours real time to harvest a field, and you're starting out, that detracts from what you're capable of doing. This map is a lot of work, especially, you start off with 10 fields, and that's one of them, and it's not exactly small. And you don't start out with much money, so I spent the whole of my first year doing all of the work manually, because I couldn't afford workers. But now, in general, I will set a harvester loose on a worker and go and do something else. But something like Old Stream Farm I like, although it's small map, small fields. But it does give you the opportunity to drive around the map a lot, but you don't make much money off it because small fields, turnover's not that high. Okay, we're here. Try not to hit the barrier. Ooh, 170 fields. Yeah, I've seen some maps like that. And the challenge with European maps is also the road network is not very wide. And a lot of the fields, I'm going to have to look from the back here, aren't I? Oops. A lot of the fields are very limited. Which way do I want to steer that? The other way. And there we go, close enough. We can unload that. That's. We'll jump back to the water truck because that's going to take a while to unload. It unloads quickly, but once it hits 50,000 litres, it's the length of time that the digester takes to consume it. And yeah, good job. Hit the water standpipe. There we are. I'm playing. Oh, what was it? My Monday session is Ungertsheim, which is another German map. Lots of small fields, and I'm running a tiny tractor, 90 horsepower, thereabouts. But that also has a lot of fields. I'm not sure it has 170, but it sure has a fair few. Okay, back to the truck. There it is. How are we doing? 44,000 litres left. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. It takes a long time to feed. There we go. So how are the cows feeling? They are feeling watered. Okay. We have to do some more grass again. Oh, that's annoying. They also need power food. We can do that in the Valtra. I'll probably leave the truck here for now. Part of the problem with this map is the yards aren't flat, so you'll see where the buildings are, it's perfectly flat, but this is horribly undulating terrain as you move away. So placing buildings is not easy on this map without completely screwing up the terrain. Plus, as far as the silage bunker is concerned, it's not actually that far. The problem I'm having is the length of time it takes to load the truck using the belts, and to unload it using the belts. Is that going to be sufficient? I don't know. So we're still 21,000 litres there. I could buy a wheel loader. I don't actually own one. Because it's not something I've really absolutely needed. And you suddenly, on this farm, it's sort of, you struggle for the first year. I sold all of the almost all of the starting equipment. I think I kept we had a Massey Ferguson, a Fendt 300, and the smaller JCB, and I kept those initially. But I've sold all of those but the Massey Ferguson since then. Actually, I might not even have had the Fendt 300 when we started, but I just got one big Class Axion. And we eked it out for the first year. I mean, I had enough money to buy plows, seeders, cultivators, all quite big, and just seeded 10 or 9 fields. Oops. But the first year I had to rent a harvester because I didn't have the cash to buy one. But then after that first harvest, you make sort of 170,000. Not 170,000. No. You're making, you're actually making close to 250, 300,000 from selling the grains, even on hard level. And that allows you to buy enough equipment to at least be slightly more functional and maybe afford a harvester at the end of the second year. And that's sufficient, okay. And then you kind of expand it from there. My first year I did a lot of tree cutting, and all I was using was a chainsaw, a tractor with a front loader, and oh, there we go, truck's done too. And what else did we have? Oh, and a logging trailer. And I chopped down the forest right over there where all those young trees are, and the sawmill is right here, or the lumber mill is right here. So I didn't have to travel far to make the money. Why are the lights on? Because it's cloudy, I guess. So, you know, you sort of struggle the first few years, and over the first few years, you know, I've ended up buying bigger tractors, bigger plows and cultivators, and having a wheel loader hasn't been a big push on my, you know, I really need one of these. And I could use one. Oh. But doing it this way does allow me to just sort of park the truck up and go off and do something else while I'm waiting. Like feed the animals. And I'm not in any real big rush to sell all the silage. The digestate tanks are full at the BGA. And as you see, I have an awful lot of silage bales here as well. So it's not like we're short of silage. And there we go. Okay. Turn that off. Okay. I'll jump out. Yeah, it is getting overcast. Okay, that's why all the lights are coming on. So, how much TMR do we have? Well, 4,000. So since we're running that unload operation in the silage bunker, I'm going to mix this up just with bales this time. So we're not going to end up with the full capacity used. I'll put that there for now. So we have a lot of hay, very little straw. Huh. There we go. Yeah, a little bit cheaty. I have an auto-load bale fork. I haven't figured out how to get 3 bales on. Not that I really want to, because probably overload. Well, it wouldn't overload the tractor because auto-loaded bales don't weigh anything. But I only need 2 plus 2 plus 1 for this mixer. Let's grab it from this stack here. There we go. If you hold the fork high enough, it doesn't pull bales from the middle of the stack. Oops. There we go. And one bale of hay. Straw, even. Unfortunately, it's summer, so nobody's using much in the way of straw. I've got, what, about 5 bales of straw left here. I have a few more over at the pig farm, so it's not completely desperate, but it is a little bit tight. It's midsummer already, so was it day 3? 2 days' time we should be able to start harvesting stuff. And if we're really desperate for straw bales, we'll go out and make some first. So 20,000 litres isn't quite the maximum capacity of this. But the only way to efficiently use the full capacity is to have the loose silage. So again, that's the problem, it's not a one-for-one feed. I have, now what I do is, on the field, where's the Hurleyman there? I have one of these to lift the bales when they're on the field, but for trucking, I use this truck with a flatbed which has an auto load feature. Okay. Which is quite convenient, I find. Okay, back for some more hay. So we've got an absolute ton of hay. No worries about running out of that anytime soon. And all this stacking was done with the auto load, because unfortunately the bale stacker doesn't fit in the barn. So pulling stuff off the field is a little bit more realistic, but shipping it to market, those silage bales, when I move them, will be going on an auto load truck. Go, drop. Why aren't you dropping? Because for some reason it's not selected the right thing. And the other thing that saved me over time is, because we start off with one grass pasture, and I planted one of the starting fields as grass. We did a lot of silage in the first year, which created a lot of digestate, which basically means that for the most part I am doing almost free fertilization. We use oilseed radish predominantly as one stage, and then digestate as a second stage. I hate that. For corn and the likes, push that top one over. Over you go. There we go. Now I'll be able to pick that up on its own. But for corn and the likes, because the seeder includes a... Jeez, I did it again. Okay. The seeder includes solid fertilizer. You don't have to do another round of fertilization, but for my cereal crops I don't have a seeder with fertilizer included, so at that point all I'm doing is running around later with a small tractor spreading fertilizer to complete it out for the cereal fields. Okay, drop. Hopefully that should be sufficient. Is that truck still loading or not? Might not be. No, I'm not close enough. Okay. I have to move the belts down again. Come on, there we go. And then back to the truck. We're going to have to reverse that in a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And the other thing is while I have an auto-load trailer, I do have legitimately all the equipment I need to load bales onto a trailer. So it's, I don't view it quite so much as cheating as being able to do something that I'd probably get the workers to do. Hey, load the truck up, I'll take it down to the market. The auto-loader just allows me to speed up the story, if you like. Okay, how are the cows now? They probably need a little bit more. I might as well, what am I doing? Mix up another full batch anyway. Oh, that's why it's shifting. I could probably use another tractor down on this yard. Doesn't even need to be very big, it just needs to be something I can use to sit on the mixer while I'm doing stuff with the front loader. Or, no, the other option is to have a wheel loader, because it's annoying having to switch between a bale fork and a shovel when I'm doing this normally. So normally I don't have a supply of silage on hand in bale form. But I also don't want to use bales for the most part, because the capacity of the mixing bucket is more than 20,000 litres, and I like to make the most of the capacity. Okay, so one straw bale, which we have loose from the stack. Come on. Jump. There we go. Where is the truck full? Doink. Once this done, we're good. And the other nice thing at the moment is, for the most part, the animals are on different feeding cycles. So I only have to do one per game day. Probably not going to use much of that. No, that's good. I've had this tractor for a very long time too. It's got 90 hours on it almost. And it started life out as one of the main field tractors. So this is about 240 horsepower, 210 horsepower. But eventually we kind of relegated it to cow farm use, since the small tractor we had on this farm just wasn't capable of running some heavy equipment like a mower and a loading wagon of their size at the same time. So okay, that's all ready for grass collection. Turn the engine off, we'll run back to the truck.